Chinese Americans and the immigrants who came before them. Vladimir Dutier took a trip to Chinatown for this. I think it's a mouth-watering assignment. I want to lick the screen.
I mean, look at it happening all behind you there. It is amazing. Good morning, everybody. For those of you who haven't had dim sum, they are delicious, small dishes meant to share in the company of friends. You'll see that the Nom Wah story is not just about its food, it's about the people behind it, carrying on a 100-year legacy.
These are some of the top favorites in our restaurant. Our first one is the shrimp and snowpea leaf dumpling.
To truly appreciate Nom Wah's food, you have to appreciate Nom Wah's rich history.
The food that we serve is actually very traditional. It's stuff that I've had as a kid, my parents have had as a kid.
Since 1920, Nom Wah Tea Parlor in New York's Chinatown has become an institution. Owner Wilson Tang.
Hospitality is in my DNA. It is what my dad and my uncles have done when they first came to America as immigrants.
It's the quintessential story of the American dream. Tang's uncle, Uncle Wally, worked his way up from dishwasher to cook to waiter to eventually owning Nom Wah and ran it for almost 50 years. Meanwhile, Tang pursued a high-flying career in finance. You exemplify in many ways what all of us who are first-generation Americans sort of exemplify to our families, right?
I did follow that path of, going to school, getting good grades, and, having my stint in finance. But I think at the end of the day, this was my calling. If I didn't do it, who would do it?
Over the years, Nom Wah, much like New York's Chinatown, has endured enormous challenges, from 9/11 to a global pandemic. But through it all, Chinatown has survived and continued to thrive.
I think restaurants in Chinatown have always been the underdog. We have a lot of grit and a lot of heart.
And what better way to celebrate and showcase that spirit than to write a cookbook, marking the restaurant's 100-year journey.
I wanted something that really talks about the neighborhood and the mom and pop businesses that are still around.
From the local tea guru to the fish whisperer to the grocery store goddess, the book is an ode to a community that is close-knit and resilient.
Hey, Mr. Lee.
As we found out quickly while walking the streets of Chinatown. You're semi-retired?
Yeah, I'm trying to retire. But, I gotta survive,
Next stop, Fong An, local tofu shop where we found Chef Paul Ang making a fresh batch of grass jelly. Ang revived his family business of over 80 years with new twists to traditional recipes.
We have a ginger rice cake. We like ginger. We like the brown rice cake. Let's put it together.
Eggplant and shrimp on this one. This is, very classic.
Back at Nom Wah, some more Tang family classics for me to chow down.
This is also a fan favorite. And last but not least is our rice rolls. This is basically rice that's been broken down into a liquid and then re-steamed on a tray. And what is dim sum without some hot tea? Black tea with chrysanthemum flowers in it. Cheers to you.
Cheers to you.
The food at Nom Wah is so good, I went off my keto diet to try some of those dishes, brought the rest home to Mary and my wife. As for the cookbook, Wilson Tang told me he hopes his kids will read it over and over again and be inspired to do something for the community just like he did. One thing about this, he wants Nom Wah to be considered like Katz's, like Peter Luger's, like Barney Greengrass. It is uniquely American.
Yeah.
It's Chinese-American, but uniquely us.
Very much American. Hard for any restaurant to last even a year, let alone a century.
I know, but I've lived in the city for over 15 years, never been to China.
You gotta go.
Gotta go. All right, we got to go. Glad. Thank you. We'll be right back. Stay with us.